After being delayed by Tropical Storm Isaac, the Republican National Convention kicks off into full gear today in Tampa, Florida. The GOP will nominate Mitt Romney as their presidential candidate. Today's events also feature remarks by the woman who hopes to become the next First Lady, Romney's wife, Ann, and the keynote address by New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. Joining us from Tampa is Scott Conroy, national political reporter for Real Clear Politics and CBS News contributor. Scott, good morning to you.
Hey, Terrell, good morning.
Isaac really causing a glancing blow to Tampa. Not really any issues where you are at the convention, but that storm still out there turning in the Gulf of Mexico, heading toward the Gulf Coast. Is it still going to cause an issue at this convention?
Yes, I mean, of course, GOP officials canceled the events on Monday, largely out of fear that the storm would affect Tampa directly, and that did not come to pass. But really, it's almost a worst-case scenario from the looks of it. I mean, if this thing hits New Orleans head-on, as it's projected to do, the greatest fear for Republican officials and Romney campaign folks is that, you're going to have images of people here having a party, celebrating, and juxtapose that against people suffering in the Gulf region in Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle, Alabama. So there is still some talk that they could cancel further events here coming up this week, although officials are saying, for now at least, the events from Tuesday to Thursday are all still going on as scheduled.
Is it simply just a change of tone that we'll see over the next couple of days, Scott, or is there something more drastic that needs to be done here? That storm could hit 7 years to the day that Hurricane Katrina hit.
Exactly. I mean, that's really the nightmare scenario from a messaging and image standpoint. I think you definitely will see a change of tone. Of course, the hurricane, no one knows exactly what's going to happen, how much of an impact it's going to have. But there is a lot of chatter here still about a worst-case scenario whereby they will, cancel further speeches, potentially further days, potentially have Mitt Romney give a much shorter, abbreviated speech, calling for people to really just bond together and forget all the usual partisan cheerleading that we see every 4 years at conventions. But that all still remains to be seen for now. The storm is still, several hours away from making landfall. So it's going to be kind of a game time decision, it looks like, as far as, where they go, if they really do any more drastic changes or whether they keep things on schedule here.
But what they managed to do on the program Monday, even in the short session, was unveil that debt clock. It's designed to show the amount of debt that the government at least has borrowed since the beginning of the convention. What's that designed to do? What's the strategy?
Yeah, there's actually two debt clocks, believe it or not. One shows the national debt on the whole, the entire debt, and the other one shows the debt since the chairman of the GOP, Reince Priebus, gavelled the convention into session here on Monday. And really what those are designed to do is obviously call attention to the growing national debt under a Democratic administration, but I think also to remind the speakers that are going to be here over the next 3 days that Republicans now want to talk about the economy. They want to talk about the fiscal mess this country is in. They want to talk about jobs. They do not want to focus on the social issues, abortion, things that have really dominated the discourse over the last couple weeks and even beyond that, because it's not what they think that they can win this election over. Mitt Romney, from the beginning, has tried to make this a referendum on the president. And every time they get distracted by side issues, Republicans think it's not a good thing for them.
Let's talk about what we're really going to see tonight and in the days to come. Ann Romney making a primetime speech coming up tonight, really going to be a big deal. What's the Romney campaign hoping that she can do, and can she pull it off?
Yeah, Ann Romney is, for a long time, Romney folks have said that she is the secret weapon of this campaign. And, I've seen her on the stump. She is a very effective speaker, and she has a very, unique kind of way of humanizing Mitt Romney, which is still a question and a problem for this campaign. A lot of people, they don't see him as someone who identifies with the average American voter. Polls show that consistently. And so Ann Romney has always said, there's so much more to Mitt, there's so much more to her husband than what meets the eye, what people think of him as. But this is really her time to show it. This is the first time she's going to have a massive national audience watching. it's a big opportunity for the campaign to take a big step towards closing the gender gap that they have with women. So really, it's a very important speech. Even before the hurricane, they had originally had her scheduled to speak on Monday night, but they changed it to Tuesday because they knew that all of the broadcast networks will be showing the events on Tuesday night, and they wouldn't have on Monday. They're really looking to the speech as an important milestone for the campaign.
Then there's New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's also going to be speaking as well. What is he going to be talking about?
Yeah, Chris Christie is giving the keynote speech. I actually saw him on the convention floor here on Monday just doing a walkthrough. Really was swarmed by media here. Of course, we haven't had that much to cover so far, so that's one of the reasons why. But it'll be a very closely watched speech as well, and I think what to look for from Chris Christie is sort of the role that Sarah Palin played in 2008 when she was the vice presidential nominee, which is to really just fire up the base. He gives a great speech. Everyone knows that. He speaks in language that's sort of confrontational, and he's good at throwing out the red meat, which people at these conventions always love to see. So you're going to look for the big sound bites. You're going to look for a really combative tone from the governor of New Jersey.
All righty, Scott Conroy, national political reporter for Real Clear Politics and CBS News contributor. Scott, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Terrell.